Meghan Markle is in crisis after a series of epic disasters, including the total failure of her tell-all interview with Emma Green.
Tyler Perry's unexpected appearance at the 25th BET Awards was a moment that left many in shock. The audience, anticipating the usual glitz, glamour, and viral moments, was taken aback when Perry, a usually reserved Hollywood figure known for his support of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, took the stage and shared some unexpected truths. His delivery was not forceful, but his message easily pierced through Meghan's polished image, leaving the audience intrigued and engaged. A friendship turned sour. Let's rewind to 2020, when Harry and Meghan boldly decided to step away from the royal family. Tyler Perry extended a helping hand when no one else would. He graciously offered his $18 million Beverly Hills mansion as a temporary home, covered their security and bills, and ensured they could settle into life in America. What seemed like a kind gesture from a friend who understood the pressures of fame turned out to be a one-sided friendship, leaving Perry emotionally and financially drained. This is what made his speech at the BET Awards all the more surprising, evoking sympathy from the audience. Perry didn't mention Meghan by name, but it was clear who he was talking about. He shared a story about offering help, only to feel ghosted once his friend got what they needed. He said, "Some folks borrow blessings like they're owed but never return the favor." The camera didn't focus on anyone specific, but those who knew the background understood. For years, Perry had been holding back, but something changed. It all started when Meghan asked to use his private jet, calling it a simple favor, without discussing costs or arrangements. Perry declined, not because he couldn't afford it, but because he felt a profound betrayal. Meghan reportedly responded with anger. He later confided in insiders that this moment changed everything. What began as a favor between friends turned into a feeling of entitlement, and Perry was not the only one who felt that way. This revelation evokes empathy from the audience towards Perry's situation. Multiple sources close to Perry, including staff and colleagues, warned him about Meghan. One insider said, "Meghan doesn't repay favors. She collects them like social currency and cuts people off when they no longer fit her plans." At first, Perry ignored these warnings because he believed he was helping two needy people. However, as time passed and as Meghan and Harry landed big deals with Netflix and Spotify without showing gratitude, it became clear that they did not intend to give back. When Perry spoke that night, he wasn't just telling a story. He was pointing out that even the most generous people have limits, and they will eventually stop being quiet. Meghan had built her brand as a misunderstood woman silenced by the royal family. But Perry was not part of the crown or the tabloids. He was someone who opened his home without expecting anything in return, and now he was publicly calling her out. At that moment, the audience, both in the venue and online, saw a different side of the story, where the helper became the whistleblower, and Hollywood's nice guy said, "Enough is enough." The impact was even more substantial because of its timing. Meghan and Harry had just started planning a new documentary about power and freedom, a project that aimed to explore their journey and advocate for social change. But investors began to pull away after Perry's speech. Trust was broken, the illusion fell apart, and Meghan lost her last faithful ally. The fallout in Hollywood. The fallout was immediate. Hollywood, built on unspoken rules and mutual support, usually avoids taking sides in public disputes. But Tyler Perry is different. He's a respected industry powerhouse known for his successful creative work and classy approach. So when he criticized someone he once defended, it created a big reaction. This big reaction included heated discussions in industry circles, public statements from other celebrities, and a noticeable shift in the public's perception of Meghan and Harry. The next morning, phone calls began. A producer involved in Meghan and Harry's latest Netflix project quickly withdrew support just hours after the BET Awards. Another investor, who had already attended 2 planning meetings, said frankly, "I don't want to be part of something that feels toxic." This wasn't about the content, it was about the people involved. Meghan's name, once seen as a favorable draw for platforms wanting to appear progressive, was starting to look like a warning sign. At Archewell, Meghan's public relations team raced to fix the situation. They contacted major media outlets to change the story. They aimed to portray Perry as bitter and out of touch, someone who misread Meghan's intentions. They offered exclusive interviews and behind-the-scenes footage, and even suggested a podcast to respond. However, this effort didn't work. Journalists showed little interest. It seemed desperate, making more people wonder, what are they trying to hide? Behind-the-scenes revelations. Behind the scenes, things became complicated. Friends close to Perry shared that he didn't want to go public, but felt pushed after being emotionally manipulated for years. He spent months deciding whether to speak out. The tipping point wasn't the private jet issue or a business proposal without a plan. It was realizing that Meghan was using their friendship to gain influence. A source said Meghan tried to use Perry's name to access a funding circle in early 2024. She mentioned his support during a pitch meeting without getting his permission, implying he was a hidden backer of her new media project. When Perry found out, he was furious. That's when he decided to go public, not to gossip, but to protect his reputation. Others began to speak out as well. A former assistant from Meghan's team described the work environment as emotionally exhausting. This person said Meghan controlled every narrative, demanded loyalty, and punished anyone who questioned her decisions. A producer who worked with the couple on their now-ended Spotify deal remarked, "Meghan's obsession with perfection ruined every good idea. She only wanted yes men." Even people in Oprah's circle, once considered close to Meghan, started to distance themselves. Sources say there haven't been any friendly calls between the two camps for months. When Perry spoke out, Oprah's team remained silent. No support, no solidarity. Things were changing quickly. Meghan had presented herself as a symbol of female empowerment, but that image began to crumble as people who once backed her started sharing their experiences. The stories this time were not coming from tabloids. They were shared by people who worked with her, supported her, and in Perry's case, even housed her. What began as one man's bold statement, as time passed, led to a larger cultural shift. Meghan Markle was no longer untouchable. The backlash impacted not just Meghan's reputation, but also her finances. With Netflix reportedly reconsidering its long-term deal and other investors backing out, Archewell's future looked uncertain. Insiders revealed that several projects had been paused. New hires were on hold, and budget reviews were happening weekly. What was once a thriving brand, supported by celebrity buzz, was now facing hesitation and damage control. Public trust was fading too. Meghan had built her image as a misunderstood woman facing royal oppression. She was seen as an empowered underdog. However, with insiders revealing stories of emotional manipulation and excessive demands, people began to doubt her story. Social media sentiment shifted from support to skepticism. Hashtags that once praised her were now full of criticism and memes showing her as entitled and insincere. For Meghan, who carefully crafted her public image, this was more than a PR setback. It was an identity crisis. The narratives she relied on, feminist icon, victim of royal cruelty, self-made media mogul, were all being questioned in real time. Even her longtime fans became quiet. Media outlets that used to showcase her were now hesitant to publish positive stories. No one wanted to risk being associated with a brand in decline. Meghan's response and Perry's silence. Meghan Markle is reportedly in a state of panic after a recent speech by Tyler Perry. She sent angry texts to him, accusing him of betrayal and humiliation, and claiming he was damaging her family's reputation. Perry did not respond, indicating he was finished with the situation. His friends revealed that he had felt pressured for years to give more and stay loyal, while Meghan used loyalty to control people. Others shared their concerns. A publicist claimed Meghan's team tried to silence journalists who asked unscripted questions. A former consultant for her charity, Archewell, said Meghan often ignored advice that did not support her views. A past staff member described working for her as a place where gratitude was absent. These accounts showed a clear pattern of control and manipulation. Even leaders in Hollywood, who usually keep quiet, began to express their worries about working with Meghan. Some joked that interacting with her team felt like playing chess with a mirror because they always twisted the truth. Meanwhile, a poll showed that support for the Sussexes in the US dropped by over 30% in the last year. In the UK, many already viewed them negatively. Now, the consequences were evident around the world. Sponsors were pulling out, and potential partners were avoiding them. Meghan's once promising career was now at risk. Throughout all this, Harry mostly stayed quiet. Some believe he is trying to repair their public image behind the scenes, while others think he is tired of years of conflicts with the media and family. Perry's speech was calm and honest, which made it impactful. It didn't just highlight one incident, it revealed a repeating pattern. In a place where reputation matters so much, Meghan learned that even someone with royal status can be excluded twice, once from royalty and then from popular culture.